Welcome to Arizona Living. I'm your host, Danielle Lerner. It is National Women's History Month, and we're sitting down with the mayor of Phoenix, Kate Gallego. But before we get to that, here's a look at what else we have coming up on the show. Mayor Kate Gallego talks to us about balancing life and politics. We celebrate 95 years of the Orpheum Theatre, plus design tips for your zodiac sign. That and much more coming up on Arizona Living. Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego is just the second female to hold that position. She is also one of the youngest top city mayors across the U.S. I recently sat down with Mayor Gallego to talk about her path to politics and how she balances it all. Came to the city as a volunteer. So I have a degree in entrepreneurship and I was planning to be a clean tech entrepreneur. But then I started volunteering with the city's environmental commission, and in my 20s helped create a great plan around solar energy. To this day, we're still #1 for solar installed on city facilities. And it felt like you could really make a difference. And when you see an opportunity for the city to do better, you can go do it. Local government is amazing that way. So much of what we get done is just great ideas from our community and people who find an advocate at City Hall. So I've found it very rewarding. I was terrible as a candidate when I started. Like I would freeze up and forget my lines and be really uncomfortable, particularly with the public speaking. But like many things, you get better with time, and I've learned that people who are watching are rooting for me to be interesting and not totally flub it, so I get more comfortable.
Yeah, and that's where that passion for what you're doing really shines through. You had mentioned before you are a mom. You have a son who is the same age as my oldest, actually. And I really just have to ask, how do you balance motherhood and your work life, your life in the public, really? Because work life, I mean, there's so much more to it, being the mayor. I mean, how do you juggle it all, and how do you find that balance?
I have learned I have to have time where it's just my son and me, and I really give him my 100% attention. I think early on I always tried to do twofers, where I'm going to find a great work event that he will also enjoy, but he really deserves full attention from mom. We're exploring Arizona together, so we just did the Grand Canyon Railway and had a wonderful time seeing our beautiful state, and it's just the two of us, and I think he really values that mom time.
Yeah.
I've also learned I have to ask for help.
Yes, and that can be a really hard thing to do for any of us, is to ask for help from that village. But it sounds like you have a lot of people around you who support you and are rooting for you.
Mm-hmm. I have a lot of great friends who helped me. There were a bunch of particularly women who, when I was running, were like, we're going to make sure you can be a great mom and a great candidate for mayor, and really helped me. And then my dad is wonderful, and he is there for me in ways where if the council meeting went late, he'll watch and pick up my son and just really be a great support. And my son is lucky to have an incredible grandfather that's in his daily life.
Absolutely. And I know you also like to hike, right? So do you and your son have favorite trails that you like to explore, or certain spots in Phoenix that you really like?
So I think the Kiwanis Trail in South Mountain is probably my favorite. We have a New Year's tradition where we go to a trail that has Fat Man's Pass at South Mountain, and it's this like very narrow area between two rocks. And since he was 3 years old, he'll always like go and get stuck in Fat Man's Pass. I can fit through it, so at age 3, he was not really stuck, but I just have, every year I have a different picture of him in that one location, just having fun and pretending to get stuck.
And I love that, creating those special memories, just one-on-one, that really intentional time. That's really wonderful. We are here at Changing Hands Bookstore, a wonderful spot to be in. I know you are an avid reader, so are there certain books that you're reading right now, or any recommendations that you'd like to share?
I guess the last book I read just totally for fun was an Emily Henry book, like a kind of a beach read called Happy Place. I can't say it had a lot of like thought-provoking or incredibly redeeming, but it was just fun for when you need a light read. And then I recently finished Chips War, which is about the semiconductor industry. One of the things I'm very proud of here is transforming our economy towards high-wage jobs, and semiconductors are at the top of that. We are going to make the iPhone chips of the future right here in Phoenix. So it was both an enjoyable read, but I think one that helps me better understand what's going on.
How do you find the time to read, or to explore some of these different books and passions that you have?
So sometimes it's just finding time at a doctor's office or on an airplane, but I've been trying to be very disciplined about no electronics for the half hour before bed. And so mostly I read with my son, but sometimes I get a little bit of fun mom reading.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference too. I have found just that time just for yourself for a minute can be really wonderful.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
spending time with us here today. It really was such a pleasure speaking with you. On these chillier nights, you want to make sure your heat is working. The experts at Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing have some advice on keeping your furnace in top shape.
For HVAC, our job in the service department is to provide preventative maintenance for customers' heating and cooling equipment. Do our absolute best to try to catch stuff before it breaks down at an inconvenient time for the customers. We also go out at those times whenever a system is down, not heating, not cooling for a customer, and go out and diagnose it and try to get them back up and running as quick as possible. The most common misconception with HVAC is that technicians are designed to go out to a customer's home to try to sell them something. In my opinion, it's furthest from the truth. A lot of customers aren't fully aware of different type of filtration devices or UV systems that can help provide a cleaner environment for inside their home.
The benefits of air purification are, more than anything, is what you breathe inside your home. So if you have more products to purify that air, the better it is going to be for your health, for the health of your family, and also overall for your home to be comfortable. It is important to change your filter every 30 days because it helps the air inside your home to be cleaner. Also, any debris that builds up on there can cause what's called static pressure. Your motor works harder to push that air through and circulate around your home. So you want to make sure that you don't cause your system to work harder when it doesn't need to by just replacing that filter every 30 days and ensuring that your air inside your home is also cleaner to breathe.
The different type of thermostats that are available to homeowners are anywhere from a basic thermostat, turn your equipment on, adjust your temperature up and down, and turn it off. Another type is a programmable thermostat. Those are more designed for customers that have a set schedule. And then there's also those thermostats that are programmable and Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi thermostats is more of a convenience feature to a homeowner. So they can log into their thermostat while they're in a different state and adjust their cooling back down to a comfortable level prior to them getting home. So the time they walk into their house, they're walking into a comfortable home from them adjusting the temperature while they were gone.
It is important to get your furnace and heat pump checked regularly. Main reason why is that sometimes homeowners don't notice that there's actually something wrong with their system. And when it comes to them setting the thermostat to the desired temperature, something's not right or it's not cooling properly, it doesn't feel right. Making sure that you keep the maintenance records, that the system is evaluated, and also it checked in a good period of time as well.
If you're experiencing any issues at your home, Right Way Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical is here to provide you with expert solutions for your needs.
In 1999, Arizona inaugurated 5 females to statewide elected positions, marking the first time that women held all statewide elected offices in U.S. history. They quickly became known as the Fab Five. Girl power, indeed. Here's a look at what's still ahead on Arizona Living. Ways to get help with your finances if you're not able to work. And we celebrate the Orpheum Theatre in our Arizona Legacy series. Parker & Sons is celebrating 50 years serving Arizona homeowners, and they want to include you in the celebration. For their 50th anniversary, Parker & Sons would like you to share acts of kindness. They want to collaborate with local nonprofits and organizations to make an impact in the community. Head to the website to submit your act of kindness and join Parker & Sons in making a difference.
Arizona Legacy is supported by these sponsors.
Visit the giant Mercedes-Benz of Gilbert.
And tell them Charlie sent you.
Cummings Plumbing, the best plumber in Tucson with over 35 years of experience. And Sweet James Accident Attorneys. If you've been injured, get justice with Sweet James.
Arizona is full of rich history, and we are celebrating that history in our new Arizona Legacy series. We start with the Orpheum Theatre, celebrating its 95th anniversary this year.
The Orpheum Theatre first opened on January 5th, back in 1929. This building was the last major construction project in Phoenix before the Great Depression. When this theater opened, like 95 years ago, it was a technical marvel. I mean, when you walk into this theater, you're taken back to a time that was inspired by the Spanish revival period. It's like an outdoor, atmospheric theater when you walk into the main bowl. It really harkens back to an old time of how people were entertained back in the day. And it was unique to this area because there were no other theaters like that here. You know, you walk in, you're blown away by the red seats in the theater, but the detail in other parts of the theater is something else that's incredible here. It's very ornate. You see the details that harken back to a lot of inspiration from that time. The ceiling here in this theater, it actually transforms you. You know, you can see the colors of a sunset above you, and then also you can see like the starry night that you can experience. We have a staircase, we call it the Peacock Staircase, and it's something that you don't really see or experience anywhere else in the valley. So when this theater first opened back in 1929, it was a vaudeville theater. But then as vaudeville started to lose its luster, if you will, they found other ways to bring people into this theater to be entertained, and it became a movie house. They still had some vaudeville acts, but it really brought some diversity to the experiences that people could have here in the theater. I think that's what really kept it top of mind to people. Back then, I mean, Phoenix was a lot smaller than it is today. I mean, we're the 5th largest city in the country, but back then there were only 48,000 people here. And for the theater to find ways to keep people engaged really helped elevate the status. This theater is the only performance venue in Phoenix that's on the National Registry of Historic Places. So that's significant. It's a point of pride for the city of Phoenix. You know, Phoenix, especially downtown Phoenix, really prides itself on the cultural experiences, and I have to say that the Orpheum Theatre really is the benchmark for those experiences because of the history that it has and the connection to the past. You know, it's very important when you're talking about a large city to have those connections to the past, because that really reminds you of what the foundation was for this city, and it gives you something to build off of as the city continues to grow. Today, the theater's role is to really add to the cultural experiences in downtown. It's owned by the City of Phoenix and managed by Phoenix Convention Center and Venues. And on the Convention Center side, we really pride ourselves in exposing people to the energy of downtown Phoenix, especially those people that are coming in from out of town, but also the people that live here. And adding to that cultural vibrancy is one of the key points of this theater today. So we have stage performances, plays, dance performances, comedians. When the city, as an organization, had the opportunity to purchase this facility, the main goal was to make sure that this building is restored into its original state. Our team here is so forward-thinking that they found a way to bring in modern technology into this theater so that you can have an experience that is both, you know, atmospherically like it was back in the day, but technologically it takes you forward into the future. I mean, I would put this theater up against any other theater in the valley when it comes to the type of experience you can have. My favorite experience here in this theater, probably the time that I got to get a tour behind the scenes of this theater. I mean, I knew a little bit about the history, but what I wasn't aware of was all the people, all the talent that has been in this theater. We have like I call it a wall of fame, where we have pictures and autographs of all the different talent that have come through these doors and performed for people. And walking through that corridor, not only do you feel like you're walking back in time, but I can also imagine not only the audience's reactions and seeing some of these people here, but the reaction of that talent when they stepped onto that stage. There's no other feeling like it. So I highly encourage people to come and get a piece of that experience.
The Friends of the Orpheum Theatre provide free guided historical tours of the theater. If you'd like to get in on one, just head to their website. One of the most notable women in Arizona history is the late Sandra Day O'Connor. She was the first female to serve as a U.S. Supreme Court Justice. Her honor was appointed in 1981, and she served for nearly 25 years. Her legacy lives on, with 4 women now serving on the Supreme Court. Here's a look at what's coming up on Arizona Living. We explain how to get money if you're not able to work, and style tips for your home based on your zodiac sign.
Hi, my name is Jill. I'm from Patio, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the home consultation. When you come in the store, look around, see what we have going on in our store. We have so many different options for patio furniture. So you can walk through the store to see what different collections that we carry, and then also just kind of figure out exactly what your needs are for your patio furniture. If a customer comes in with a photo, I can take a look at it and see what their patio looks like. And if they are interested, I can do a home consultation. What I do is I usually do a sketch and figure out exactly what they're looking for. So the sketch will help them kind of guide them through their backyard. And we can sit down, figure out what they're looking for and what their needs are for their back patio. Some people have no idea what to buy. And so that's where I come in and I help them kind of figure out exactly what their space looks like. I do home consultations where I go out to their house and guide them through what the pieces they're looking for. The home consultation and the design consultation is completely complimentary. Patio furniture, find your bliss at one of our locations or shop online.
Joining me now are Eric Slepian and Brian Ellickson of Slepian Ellickson PLLC, a firm dedicated to helping people with disabilities get the government benefits they need and are entitled to. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Okay, full disclosure, I've got to be honest, I did not know much about Social Security disability until I went to your website and started researching for this conversation. And so, Brian, just to get us started, can you lay out for us what is Social Security disability?
At its core, it's a really simple program. Social Security says that if you can't work because of a medical problem that's going to last for more than 12 months, they're going to help support you with financial benefits, with medical benefits, to allow you to focus on your health. It's sort of like a long-term disability policy for all of us.
Eric, I know there can be some misconceptions surrounding this process.
The most common misconception is that Social Security is for people who have hit retirement age. But there's a whole program for people that are unable to work. And so it's going to be dependent not on your age, but on your medical conditions and how those conditions affect you on a day-to-day basis.
It is possible to try and file these claims on your own, but Brian, why would somebody benefit from bringing in a seasoned, experienced attorney like yourself to help them navigate this process?
I mean, I said it's a very simple system at its core, but the actual procedures of it are mindlessly complex. And so bringing someone who has experience in from the beginning is going to help with filling out the application correctly. It's going to provide the correct information in the language that Social Security speaks, so that these claims aren't needlessly delayed. We see claims that go on for 2, 3, 4 years. And sometimes it's as simple as providing information in the correct way that could have circumvented a lot of that delay.
Yeah, like you mentioned, that complicated process. And so let's go a little deeper into that process since I have you here. Eric, can you walk us through what is involved in filing an SSD?
So mostly it's paperwork, and more paperwork.
Everybody loves paperwork, right?
But there are a lot of forms, and you have to make sure these forms are filled out correctly. A mistake early on may not be fixable, or it may take years to get that corrected. So it's very important that work gets defined properly, medical conditions are defined properly, and there's just good communication with the medical providers. It's complex, and it's a system that shouldn't be complex, but it is complex.
If someone out there sees this and maybe they want to move forward with their own claim or even just get some more information, Brian, what are some of the first steps in moving toward that process?
So we have a lot of great information on our website, and I'd invite all your viewers to call. We're always available to answer questions. We offer free consultations, and we're here to help.
Thank you both so much for being here with me today and for sharing this important information. For anyone out there who wants more information, just head to slepian.com. Don't go anywhere. We have more Arizona Living coming up next. How your zodiac sign can influence your design style.
Arizona Legacy, recognizing businesses serving Arizona for over 30 years.
We continue our series on designing for your zodiac sign. The experts at American Furniture Warehouse are focusing on the water sign Pisces.
As we enter Pisces season, we created this amazing space that speaks to the characteristics of a Pisces. Since Pisces is a water sign and is represented by the fish, we use a lot of aquamarine tones, things that you would find in nature, perhaps by the beach or the ocean, and a lot of natural materials. What I've learned about Pisces is that they love community, they love engaging with people that are really close to them. This conversation area with its 4 swivel stools anchored by the round center cocktail table is a perfect space to engage with its people. The piece of artwork on the wall is very in keeping with the color and texture that's in the rug. We have the gold tones and the blues and the greens that really tie the whole room together. As always, you can find everything you see here and more at afw.com.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Danielle Lerner, and we'll see you next time on Arizona Living, where we help you live an inspired life.